Who is the scariest horror villain you've ever seen? A paranormal clown? A deranged caretaker? A guy with sewing needles in his head? I don't know, I didn't see that one. But all of these villains look the part. But are you afraid of David Bowie?
It's with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the...
Now that question may seem a bit odd if you haven't realized that he is the model for Part 4's villain, Yoshikage Kira. A villain who, in a sea of fantastic villains, is the scariest. But what makes him so scary is his theme song. Listen closely to this scene from the anime.
Kira Yoshikage, 33歳独身。仕事は真面目でそつなくこなすが、今一つ情熱のない男。
What I love about this scene is that there's nothing actually scary. It's just a man going to work. Kira isn't a scary looking or sounding villain. He's handsome, a snappy dresser, well composed. He just looks like David Bowie. But during this scene, his theme song gives you the idea that there is something off about this man. We meet a lot of odd characters in Morio, but none of them have a theme like this. And we get a much clearer vision that Kira is not just a man walking to work. It isn't until you hear this theme that gives you more of a sense that this character is going to be a problem, and Araki had a very specific vision to play this up in the anime. Araki approached David Production during the start of Part 4's anime, suggesting that they should include Kira in several backgrounds, which foreshadows him early in the part. Mainly because he initially didn't know who would end up being the main villain of the story until later on when Kira was introduced. This reminds me of the meme to find the Stan user in the crowd because it's always so obvious, but here, it literally isn't. The only clue that the viewer has is his theme, and that may be the most important thing that makes him so scary. Great horror doesn't come from over-the-top layers of blood and guts and scary imagery. It comes from subtle unease, both in visuals and music. The best example we have is Jaws, one of the scariest movies ever made, with a terrifying and iconic theme. Take a look at this scene from Jaws, but I'm gonna remove the music. It's just legs and water. So this time I'm gonna add different music. Okay, that made it weird. I don't know why that was weird, but let's just play the original music. The theme makes the scene scary. It tells your brain to be uncomfortable. And Kira's theme does this very well. Much like Jaws, Kira's theme Killer by Yugo Kanno does something very simple. See if you can hear it. Right at the start, it plays two notes right next to one another. This creates a lot of dissonance, and to put it simply, dissonance doesn't sound pleasing. Your brain expects the chords to be the same, but only two of the three notes are, and the other creates dissonance. The song goes on to add in eerie strings and wind instruments, but the dissonant piano is the real magic. This is a staple in horror soundtracks because the goal of the composer is to make you feel uncomfortable. So when you pair this uncomfortable feeling with a well-dressed, composed man, his actions become even more shocking. Your brain expects this man to not have severed hands, but instead we get severed hands. Killer Queen isn't even that scary looking at first glance. He just looks like a big pink cat person. Oh wait, that is kind of scary. The only other horror villain I can think of like Kira is Patrick Bateman of American Psycho. While there isn't a dedicated theme song for him in the movie, the use of music in key scenes helped to establish the atmosphere and reflect his persona. Kira is a perfect example of how a simple theme can create a horror atmosphere that tells the listener all they need to know about a character. It's why horror soundtracks are so important, even though you probably aren't going to be blasting them on your commute to work. And that's just one of the reasons why the music in the anime is fantastic, even with the character themes. But sometimes fans give characters their own themes, much like how they turned this Catholic priest into a gay icon. And to learn more about that, you can check out this video right here.